Welcome to Winternomics.eth. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready to just Winternomics. Welcome. Welcome to Winternomics.eth. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready to just Winternomics. Welcome. Welcome to Winternomics.eth. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready to just Welcome to Winternomics.eth. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, winter, winter. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Welcome to Winternomics.eth. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, winter, winter. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Welcome to Winternomics.eth. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, winter, winter. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics.
What up? Good morning, motherfuckers. How are y'all motherfuckers doing? Motherfuckers versus goblins today. No, I'm kidding. Too real. Too real is back. Yeah, I thought we had to go a little cartoon action today. We're stuck in limbo, so fuck it. This filter was dope, right? I wouldn't mind doing a couple on this one. Makes me look like I got some perfect ass teeth. The magic of processing. Art never dies. So, a little bit of a late start. Got most of the kinks worked out a little faster than usual. It's always some technical bullshit to get in our little set vibe. So, if you guys get the show theme right, that's Limbo. Limbo is, basically purgatory, like a stay, between, the living world and the dead world. And we're sitting in the Phantom Zone. So, if you guys remember the Phantom Zone is, we'll cover that again. And look at like what's going on right now with the shockwave we're sitting in risk assets. Oh, you see my homer? All day. How low can you go? In my younger days, quite low actually. Let's see. So I did have something I want to talk about. I got a DM from a viewer. Follows me for a while. And one thing, never get caught in your feelings when I take stuff you say and I make an example out of it. Really? That went to bed pretty fast. That's pretty crazy. We take the conversations that we have, we learn from behavior this way. A lot of people come into a trading room and they have an expectation of what a trading room should teach them and how it should teach you to trade. And I can understand when you watch the show, I've got my charts are for the most part pretty clean. I obviously have like an indicator on my candlesticks and I have a color changing moving average. And people get sold a lot of indicator packages and get caught up in like, hey, this is that must be the thing that makes the analysis in the show so accurate. It's going to help me trade better. There's also a conflation between like market analysis, like you see on this show, and executing a strategy per that analysis, into the unfolding market. Those aren't the same things. And a lot of stuff gets twisted in people's heads with their emotions and their egos and their need to compete, in that X over Y that we talked about on the night stream. Remember, we had talked about this, and people really, mind fuck themselves and limit their potential by focusing on competing with everybody else around them rather than trying to envision something for themselves and build in that direction. People really don't do that. They really can only define themselves by other people. Then don't get me wrong, right? We know that value is governed by the law of substitution. So, how do you value a piece of property unless you know what another property in the same area was worth, right? So this is a natural tendency we all have, but it can be to your detriment if you let it confine you to a very small world. The comment I want to read, we'd had a little chat in or Discord about it. And this is a very limiting thing for people. So I've trained lots of people, 1,000 people, probably directly hands-on, and probably tens of thousands have followed my work across 9 years to teach themselves how to do things, at least improve where they were. It's very hard to teach people to get out of their own way, though, I gotta say. So I got this DM, and this is the craziest thing, right? How does a student learning something expect they should be contributing analysis to this eco? If you even pay attention to this eco, if you're learning off this show, right, does it look like we actually solicit anybody's analysis? But there's a lot in the words of this person because it really tells you about a mindset that is going to limit your ability to do things. And if it's a mindset you carry on and you're unaware of it, it's going to hurt you in many places, right? If you're learning off this show and you're learning through the 1,000 posts and war stories and you're going over my blog and you're reviewing the starter pack, think about this. Is the perfect situation only to enter Discord when are trading profitably? No, it makes no sense. The hell would you even need to come? Think about that question. So are you entering a place to learn to show everyone how good you are? This speaks to mindset, right? Because this automatically means you're not really coming to actually learn anything. You're coming to demonstrate. And so that isn't in alignment with what you're saying you're coming, right? Who the hell is 100% accurate in their trades? That's a crazy fucking thought. Nobody is. We talk about risk reward because we get fucking punched in the dick too. We just don't want that to kill us. This is, and if you're watching this is good for you to watch, right? The other part I underlined. I don't think I can provide any value to the group to justify my being there, as I can't provide good intel or analysis on the market. Dude, what? Have you seen what the fuck we do on the show? Am I smoking rocks? I'm not smoking rocks. I smoke some good ass weed. But what? I don't want your fucking analysis. Does that even look like this kind of arrangement? That's crazy, right? And I'm not trying to be a dick, but like, bro, are you watching the show? Like, it's crazy. Right? So you're gonna get your own way to learn if you come with a mindset like that. That has nothing to do with coming. Can you imagine that you wouldn't go to calculus on day one unless you could show that you were 100% proficient in all of the types of calculations you'd be doing? He's like, I better be a fucking expert at differential equations before day one. Where the fuck would you go to calculus class? And this is the only place in the world that when people want to go to class, they want to be an expert, like above the teacher on day one. In any other place, you put your hand up and ask questions. Only here in capital markets does the ego get a hold of you when you start to compete with about money and what you see in everybody else. Do you fucking start to do this ridiculous behavior? This completely undermines your ability to learn anything. Do you know? So what is value? What you just wrote me from a perspective you can't see. That's what you add without knowing it. Your participation shows the way you think as actually detrimental to your ability to absorb new information and adapt. That is the keys to a bad trade, right? You're clearly not reviewing the situation correctly, and your inhibition to want to enter the system where you're hoping to learn things is blocked by your bias about what you think you can contribute and what we actually want from you. And so you're going to go with that and make that trade. That's the recipe of a bad trade. That's what you learn, right? Markets are 90% psychology. Everyone's pretty sure it's an indicator that's going to fix you. If you process information in a limited fashion or myopically, from an egocentric standpoint, you're going to make a choice that's limited. I give you a pretty indicator, you're going to just make a limited choice with a pretty indicator. Nothing changes in that, right? That's why markets are 90% psychology. We all know this, and then want to go buy an indicator package. I could be a dick and sell you some pretty green and red indicators, but I'd just be a dick. You just be a dick with fucking red and green indicators. Makes no fucking sense. If you just thought this through, right, any fucking trading you ever walked in that had an indicator package is a fucking scam. You're just going to be a jackass with an expensive ass layout, thinking completely wrong about information and making choices with, a very, very narrow scope of what's available to you. I clearly don't need your fucking analysis. Sorry. Not sorry. Anyways, so the way you think about shit matters. It determines what you're going to be able to act upon, right? If thought precedes action, then trading is all about your cognitive process and your ability to make a efficient decision faster than everybody else who has access to the same information. Doesn't matter what your indicator is. If you're fucking stupid, you're just gonna be stupid with indicators. So allow yourself to learn, right? And make sure your actual goal is to learn, not to demonstrate. Market analysis and trading are two different things. So don't worry about competing with what I do or showing me how good your analysis is. I'm not asking for that. I don't compete with any of my students about their analysis or anything. Everyone kind of does their analysis and charts slightly differently. If you go to charts and war stories, I've never competed with you guys with my market analysis. Best traders in the world, Warren Buffett, whoever the fuck, like Ackman and those guys, icons. Risk management and market analysis are not the same thing. So, all right, memos on the morning, right? So I hope you don't panic exit Discord because I didn't tell you who you were. I just want to cover it because this is not personal, right? It's either the mindset that one person has or most people have. And most people do make, a shitty choice. This kind of gives you the windows into the way you process information to make a less than valuable decision with what's available to you to make a choice from. All right. That being said, I'm going to move on to scorecards and do those real quick. Let's see if we got any first of all. We actually did. All right, let's see. Got 3. What do we have here? We did this already. 35 minutes ago. Oh, look at you, motherfucker. You got it right before the show. Personal highlights. What? No charts? Dude, did you do a YouTube? I hope there's not like fucking music in this. I got fucking screwed on one of these already for playing it right in the air. Let's see. Oof, it's been a rough couple weeks of trading. The majority of trades that were without discipline, sticking to the plan. Tough to admit, I struggle with getting everything 100% perfect. Everyone does. I have had some good entities, but more losses than wins. Entries. I'm really angry with myself for that, but have decided to use that energy to focus it towards my trade analysis and review. It's hard when friends are telling you trading is just a slow way to lose all of your money. But at this point, it would be a more waste of to not consolidate lessons and mistakes. 1, get better friends. Unless I change the habits, I will continue to make stupid decisions in trading and in other areas of life. It is true what Cass says. If you don't know what your mind is doing to information in real time, there is no indicator that it's going to fix that problem. I'm pretty repetitive. In addition to that, no one will be able to help you, and nothing will save you. Only you can do that. Easier said than done, and it feels like the next level of perception. But what else is there to work on, to be honest? I'm sorry, I'm a little baked. I'm not seeing this too great. After writing this, I happened to catch up on Nomics. Jeez, that's the one I read all smooth. Awesome. Which is pretty funny to come across Kaz's Winter After Dark show right at this point in time. Show aired 1st of June. It's a ball terror. When you make a series of small decisions that at the binary point are all bad, will lead to you in a macro result that is terrible. Okay, let's see. What did you link here? Environment.
Yeah, that's the entire mechanics of what the difference between participation and non-participation is. Are you aware enough to make the right decision out of the two? Probably not. If you're not
This is the same conversation.
When your participation is low, your attention to detail is low, and there is like two versions of you: a very attentive you who processes information readily, and there's a you that doesn't. And it's a series of micro decisions that are all bad at the binary point of each decision that leads you to a macro fucking result that's terrible.
Yeah.
Trying to get you to be active isn't me just being a dick and fucking for my own benefit. The room is free. Your activity is directly related to your habits everywhere else, and we know this, but you won't actually know it till you actually do it. So it's really hard to get you to know a thing you don't know. You have to trust the process. If you act,
I think that's a good place to leave that. Trust the process. So it's the same exact conversation. That's a hell of a fucking Reddit memo to lead me back to that. I did not read that before I said the shit I said before. That's really crazy. That's like right there. Oh, well, you just put that 35 minutes ago, so you put that because of the conversation in Discord. What a fucking circle fucking jerk. Well, yeah, so that's the same fucking point that we're making, right? It's not about indicators or anything. It's literally your activity. It's your attention to detail. It's your ability to make a decision, a more accurate decision with the same body of information everyone's got access to, right? Kind of like if in the world of like stopping out on like a really horrible fucking like shitcoin you're in, you either stop out now when it's clearly bad or much later when the damage is greater. It's the same choice made more efficiently, right? One will lead to less damages. It's true when you're in a zero-sum system, like you all have access to the same information. Who processes it and makes the efficient and valuable choice first wins. But yeah, trust the process. Be active, right? You don't learn anything thinking Spanish in your head until you speak it out loud. You don't realize how bad you sound in it. So, okay, that's the exact same point. I like that. That reinforces what we were saying. See, we're repetitive. We say the same thing. It takes a while for it to click, but we could do the fucking hype station and sell you garbage, but we have a little more respect for you guys than that. So cool. Thanks for sharing the personal highlight. Oh sweet, more fucking dope art. What did you do back here, huh? What's this? Is this a GIF? Well, that's a fucking great idea. Holy shit. I didn't know you could do something like that. That's such a great idea. You guys just fucking know I like Thanos and space shit. You keep fucking with me with these. Somebody send me this fucking loop. Or stick this in the fucking, stick this in a fucking art channel. What the fuck? Stick it with, the charts are awesome. Leave them over here. But stick this motherfucker like this. And leave you motherfuckers here on it too. And throw that in the art channel. Holy shit. That's such a great fucking idea for a scorecard. So cool. I guess these are the plays that you guys did. Let's see. The past month was a turbulent month on the market. The sentiment is that a lot of people are getting wrecked. However, what must be said is that Kaz, you're always helping us to stay safe in these conditions. The acolytes are doing well using the intel. Well, I'm happy to hear that. I happy to hear like a message from the team. That's cool. Are doing well using the intel and working together to survive the market conditions. The streams, OnlyFans, convos, and Discord, and lots of memos has helped us in the past months to navigate these turbulent conditions. Major thanks to both of you for always doing this and helping people in their tough times. These are some of the acolytes' past plays. ES, futures people like that, 20Rs, 13Rs, spies, UVixi we talk about, CL, they're trading everything. You see that? That's oil, NASDAQ, Mosaic, AMD, all these in the show, all throughout the community. We have analysis for Tesla, BTC, ETH, Atom. And, they're just trading, I mean, this is still a large selection of assets traded in a very crazy market. You literally could make your living just fucking trading like the ES or SPY right now, like just following the indexes in the volatile market, right? But these are great. They're trading a bunch of risk assets in both, likely both directions. This is cool. I'm really happy to get like a team scorecard from you guys like that. All you other teams that haven't written me one in a while, I'd like to see something like this posted on the next show. So very cool. And somebody topped this graphic. That's pretty dope. I'm gonna guess this is fucking Hodge again. Very nice. I dig it. I dig the colors too. Those are fucking like very, very vibrant. Nada's Dream. This was a trade planned on weekly prep 2 weeks ago. Took 2 tries and almost 2 weeks to get it. That's a way to stick with the one play. But this is another good example of how planning trades and keeping your triggers in check can make you money. You just have to be a little patient. 100%. Why is this called Nada's Dream? I thought this was Nada's post, but this is a DJ. I wonder what the joke is there. Shout out to Sword Team, Kaz, Vicky, all support, especially Nada for dreaming of this. I want to know the inside joke. Clue me into the inside joke. So very cool. First time he attempted here, rotational bull flag, came right back in his face, took the second one and caught the leave. Good shit. I hope you're not still in this. Never post an open trade. Oh no, you're out. Okay. Yeah. Well, it went fucking crazy. Hope you guys pay attention to this. This was the bull market we've been focusing on the station, right? Like the energy fucking and food crisis are your real bulls right now, while people keep focusing on risk assets in these massive pullbacks. There's always a bull market usually right in front of people, but the people who can act on it, right, process information differently than the people who don't. And this goes to the exact thing we're talking about, right? There's no indicator that would convince you there's a bull market in fucking oil, right? There's all the information in the world to tell you that oil is going in a fucking moon pump for over a year, while people are staring at the thing that the herd's staring at, and that's popular. But if we took the labels off of this, I could tell you this is a shitcoin, you'd love it. The reality is people really don't want the thing that is good for them. And we teach guys how to be objective so they can go play whatever the fuck is moving, fuck what asset class or anything. You just want to make money. And go where it is easier to make money. Play strength. Good shit, DJ. Tell me the inside joke. All right, let's see. Is that it? That was it. That's good stuff. It's good scorecards, right? Did I run out of ganja? I don't think so. Uno momento.
Welcome to Winternomics.
Scorecard isn't Matt, but it's the DP. However, Matt made a scorecard the other day. Nada sees the future. I still don't get it. Nada dreamed about oil pumping. Oh, are you dreaming about like crude oil? What the fuck? Did you guys learn a lot from the banana? I thought that was a pretty artsy stream. Some of you guys in the new art community of Winternomics TV, how are you enjoying the creative process, and have you seen its effects on things you do outside of that? I hope you guys have been reading the conversations that are inside that channel. There's some really, really deep shit in there that really, help you think about things differently. And I think it's something when you stop talking about money for a second, you start just talking about perception, you can actually really, grasp some of the ideas that we're trying to get through to you. So some very cool stuff's going on there, by the way. This motherfucker is about hilarious. So he did the banana fucking N, and he's decided to completely gang rape my my logo, and he's Nomics eggplanted it. So CeeLo's on a tear of creativity. Peep this one. Tell me this is not fucking crazy. Server leader fucking took a design and applied it to a surface, you know, to give an idea of something in the real world. This is a fucking killer. Like, this is a second level imagination, right? He didn't just come up with a design. He applied it to like a product. This shows you, this is what I wanted people to see. Like, you see how creative people actually naturally are? It's just like literally people telling you that, you know, trading's not going to work out for you or that you're not that guy. Like, if you just give people a second, they'll do some pretty amazing shit. I thought this was fucking insanely creative to not only make the design, but apply it to something so you could get that real world idea of it, you know, a design out in the world, not just, you know, a picture. But I thought this was pretty fucking fire. I could see that in the real world. I would buy that skateboard. So lots of cool stuff going on here. You guys definitely gotta check it out. Good to get your creative juices going. Fucking CJ's on fire right now. C-Love, I mean. TR Shapes, where you at? And nothing fucking pornographic, motherfucker, in the community channel. It's a fucking kids network. No, I'm kidding. You do what you do, buddy. All right, so... I'm working on some ideas. So I just learned how to do this. So I'll do something more high res soon. But I was thinking about it. I was like, like, you know, we can do a lot of things. I think you guys realize like how far you can take and how quickly you can do things. Like, we talked about something in the room, you know, like nobody would fucking pride themselves on using an abacus today to work at NASA or SpaceX, right? You'd use the tools of the day. And, you know, 100 years ago, the paintbrush was the tool of the artist, but, you know, today fucking the iPad might be the exact same tool in our era. I think people that get stuck on what, you know, on tools of the past that you have to use this into some vintage craft, I think fail to understand what evolution's about, right? Humans don't have any greater potential than they did, you know, 100 years ago. Like Warren Buffett said, they have better tools created by the fucking 1% that dare, and they leverage the human potential on top of those tools, right? So if you fail to adapt, you die. So a lot more of you are capable of doing some amazing shit than you realize, and it's really good to see the community art channel get that to come out of people. All right, let us move on to a macro, and let's take a look at some things about where we're at in the market. So we've been gyrating pretty heavily inside of a pretty serious range on the SPY that we kind of like coined the Phantom Zone in one of his previous shows. So Phantom Zone is that little area under Ragnarok. Remember the Ragnarok level from Goku? There's a pump level here, and then a drop zone to pay attention to. That zone underneath it, right there, is this range we established between these two blue levels. That's the Phantom Zone, right? That's where we have the little fuchsia range, just above it, here to Ragnarok. And that was where we drew the possibility for a corrective structure, and it's corrected and oscillated and now done a pretty significant shockwave. So what are your possibilities? This thing. Let me get a better color for you. Where am I going to get it? I'll use yellow. All right, there's that guy's possibility, or there's this possibility over here, right, to come out and do a bear flag and roll down. So that's kind of what we're waiting for. This is kind of like, you know, the decision point. So we either crossing the river Styx, you know, now, or it'll be a state of execution. But for now, we're in limbo, right? So the bigger the shockwave gets, the likely the larger explosive the move is when it gets out of here. As like, you know, this builds up. Pay attention to the VIX right now. He's still, you know, basically going backwards. We probably need to redraw this, pull flag on him. We're not gonna go too far with it. We're just gonna extend it as he goes. Right? And can this be right now? Like if he swings through here, so you want to pay attention to right now where the VIX is today. Let's put this as like a one of these. We'll extend this guy out. That level right there will make fuchsia. So right now, if he swings and stays under this, right, he's basically done expanding formation. He's expanded this flag, stop run this way, and then if he exits the range, this is very much like the Darth Maul you see in like the structure we talk about in the Fed, right? This is a humongous explosion in both directions, wipe everybody out, and then structure into go into a particular direction. If he can stay under this, the market can push up out of that range, and you can get an extension on the dead cat, and we can see that like push up a little higher and make some of the bear flags and some of these guys a little bigger. So we do have bear flags, right? We look at this, we look at ARC. ARC is one of the guys we're paying attention to as far as our roadmap on our way down. Right, so ARC is very much in, you know, a bear flag and not really, you know, doing much else inside of those crash cycle structures he's in. And this would kind of do a potential path, right? He could go below higher and then rotate down, and that's a little danger. But as long as he's structuring higher, like you allow it to go as high as it does, and then you understand how rotation this would likely look, right? If he was to go from here and actually manage to do something like this, then that would be the danger when you saw this happen, right? So that's what you're waiting for, to pay attention to. The SPY, then again, like you pay attention to him. Also, it'd be the same thing. Can he go up and tag this angle? He totally could. I kind of expected that he would have a chance of contacting it. So if he does get there, we do want to pay attention if he gets to that. Always respect the geometry of price. DXY things. So he, again, we drew this zone around him. It took a bull flag that's like failing to rotate at any speed. And so if he doesn't rotate, right, we want to pay attention to this kind of like more macro trajectory of it, right? So from the election point, right, he rotates up and you climax out in an acceleration from this channel trajectory. This is usually an unsustainable thing into a 2B of a 7-year shockwave, a multi-trillion-dollar shockwave. So this is, you know, this is literally the best possible thing. If of all things, is that if this is a 2B of a system like that, and it does have real corrective strength against anybody caught on this, the bull case is this guy now. Where the fuck is it? Damn it. All right, Jesus H. So if he stays under here, and we get like a corrective structure that does say this, and goes backwards this way, let's use white, right? And we're to correct back more into a crash cycle back into this trajectory, we would likely have a stay of execution in the market, right? And so this actually, if like this projection was accurate, like I'm looking for this cycle to potentially end, you know, right here in the summer. This would be accurate, you know, maybe another upthrust in the dollar, a downtrust in the market that actually breaks a few assets, and then a recovery, and the dollar actually stays within the range of this shockwave. That I think is actually possible. So, you know, depending on like what Putin's effects are, of course. But I think right now, as far as the recycle goes, we're looking at this. Litecoin. This is our roadmap to it, right? And we're aiming this trajectory at the summer, like July, June. So zoom into this guy, right? We're waiting to see if this guy stays depressed, has no meaningful up move, and he manages to break down pretty quickly. Because, you know, if we're at the part of like the fractal we talked about in 2018, there's a very muted amounts of upsides, and your weak asses really just get plowed. So this is a good guy to keep on your radar, because Litecoin is a real good barometer on risk of the market, as we talked about before. All right, that's that. Did Litecoin can do him? We're keeping track of this guy as the bull flag of that basically is our big indicator for NFTs and crypto. If this guy bull flags out, like death is nigh, right? So we had to keep this guy on the radar, big time. So he's failed to rotate all the way up, so you keep just paying attention to it, right? Until I think right now, when you look at this kind of range, you could kind of create a box range on this guy now and establish a good trigger for this to go out. Yeah, this is our blue box. So we look at it right now. I think if you this is the danger for us, and you know we'll make these arrows actually red, since this would be a de-risking event to the marketplace. We'll keep those guys red to denote danger. And so this is the path, you know. If we're going to go to a de-risking event, the market's going to do something along the lines of, let's try to draw that per the time scale we said, right? We're looking for this thing to like be like back here. Maybe it does something like that. It's a dollar stalled, right? Come back through with the 2B. That would bottom the cycle. This thing would rotate up. Something would break in the marketplace. You probably get a blow off wick, and this guy would come back through. So if we got that LTC projection right, this is something that would happen. If things were going to get worse, then path B would be to fucking go completely like that. But this, if we bottom for that target that I gave you, then this likely can happen. It could possibly be a 2B, just shoot through the top of this and then fucking shoot back down. And in this moment, like, you know, certain other assets would explode, you know, some worse than others, obviously. So I don't know, I think that covers about what I want to talk about there. Let's see. All right, so the LTC, so paying attention to Bitcoin, of course, we gave you this flag to watch, this possible projection. And, you know, so I guess right now you're just watching really this, right? This area, if he rolls out of this, then you begin to pay attention for like this projection. Is it possible he comes out of here and still goes up higher into this? I thought that's where he would make it, is into this, you know, and possibly do that and come out. Or you could get as high as getting here and then come back out. Or go now if VIX decides to pump today. So we pay attention to that. If SPY breaks upwards out of the phantom zone, that's a bullish case for this guy to possibly extend a little higher. But it does seem to be like the weight of, like, you know, the world on the back of crypto right now. So I'll take those off of there. Let's see, that being said, ETH, still paying attention to this. This is a good bar too. If there's a rotation of risk assets upward, this likely is to be paid attention to. And conversely, you want to watch this right now, today, right? So you're getting to a pretty confined range where there should be movement imminent. So you at least know that. All right, got them all. That's all I want to cover. 8:54. Damn, y'all wrote some books. What did you guys write? Jesus fuck. I'm looking to expand my swing portfolio. We know these stocks. I've been following some of them for a while now, which are now hovering around trigger levels. Okay. Dirty energy is making all-time highs, which would make you think renewable energy gets more interesting. But on the other hand, the energy transition all costs a lot of money during these times that are very high. Yeah, I mean, that's the actual logic that made people miss dirty energy. They just assume people's, like, you know, natural disdain for dirty energy means that green energy is now. But what does it take to really transition a world that lives and breathes oil off of it? You know, it takes a lot of time, for one. And you're not really in the economic environment really for the green energy movement right now, right? Supply chain disruptions, the economic disruptions, that put a fucking complete hole in that game. And, you know, solar and all that requires government funding to get any kind of traction. So it's just not the right environment. Obviously, the world's going to keep pushing towards it as climate issues are at the forefront of most people's minds. But you don't have the economic, like, you know, global economic environment for it to really get traction. And we are in an energy crisis at the same time. So the fundamentals support dirty energy, you know, over that. There will be a point in time that, you know, clean energy becomes a good idea. But like all things, right, you let it show itself. You don't do that speculation, well, this must lead to that. Like, it'll show itself, and we can see that technically and fundamentally when it gets to that point. Jingle Jam said, yo, one of the stocks I'm following, stocks or coins, I'm not sure, had 3 consecutive days of all-time high volume. However, most of the volume was on this exchange called MIAX. What would be the reason for this? I would have to know what MIAX is and what stock that is to even begin to speculate about that. I have no idea. Cats merch is coming. Nomics merch. We have some ideas. Don't worry. We have some ideas on that already. If art is the eye beholder, why is some art valued more than others? Well, think about it, right? You know, depending on whatever the technical, whatever technical level of the art piece it is, right? If no one's there to witness it, what is its valuation? Nothing. What makes the Mona Lisa, you know, considered so amazing? Literally, a part of that equation is the sheer amount of fucking people that know about the Mona Lisa. There are a lot of eyes to behold it. That's just the first part. All right, so we got a couple symbols to get. It's 8:57. I'm actually going to do the show and finish on fucking time for once. So let's see. New core, AEX, J, and K. All right. me get my chart. All right, new core. I know I have that guy down already somewhere. Maybe it's this one, new core. Okay, there is the more recent new core chart. Why did I do this over here? So new core on this chart is, why did I put that high level on there? I can't even remember doing this chart. Come on, TradingView. Help a brother out and load faster than this. Okay, that's why. All right, had a breakout level on this, broke out, corrected through it, made a larger correction, and then came out. And this is a swing level off of this system. So right now, this does look was a huge correction happened in new core, and I think steel also, basic materials. These guys were in structures that had potential breakouts and corrected kind of deeply, but I think basic materials still fit with the inflation picture. And these guys in metals and in non-precious metals are still bullish case scenario, because we back up on these guys and they still have an amazing trajectory, goes along with all the crazy shit we're seeing in food and energy. I think this corrective structure, when you look at it, this resolution is one of those ones you kind of can easily do one of these things, before he finds his way out of there. He can do a very large conical shock wave. When you have this massive kind of dump wave, right? He can take some time to find his way out of this. So I think he's the kind of guy you can play a wave within the range of what you see here, as long as he stays above this trigger. But if he rises too fast, there's a good chance he oscillates a massive range to bleed off some of this energy before he can really go again. AEX. Is it this? I think somebody's asked this before. Is this right? Are we just getting Amsterdam Exchange? Shout out to Peace Outside. Appreciate the bits, homie. I'll just do the AEX Exchange, I guess. Euronext. So, these guys, let's take a look. Haven't taken a look at Amsterdam in a minute, but let's lay some things over it. So let's make a little European basket, right? Let's look at the S&P on top of that. Ah, shit. All right, so here you go. You're watching the same thing everywhere, right? Because our basket of risk assets, your basket of risk assets are, derive value from one another, right? Your banking, your banks versus our banks, our airlines versus your airlines, right? What you're really looking at is just, differentials between our perceptions of our pools of similar assets. So when you look at this, when you're looking at risk assets, we don't have to look at every single one of these to figure out where all of them are going, right? We're pretty much the whole world's in the same place right now, especially relative to BRICS nations versus NATO. These guys all look alike. So you're really just looking for whether or not the extension that we were talking about in the S&P from the phantom zone happens. You'll likely see a bump also in the AEX with it, and they'll track it. One thing you do see is because the US dollar has been so strong, you see that many of the European exchanges appear to have bottomed and are setting higher floors from their bottoms, right? While the US is actually making new lows because the dollar is so strong. So if the dollar were to stop doing that crazy shit and risk assets in the United States were to turn, these guys are actually in rather bullish positions. All right, let's turn this back down so you can see. Hold on. So, right, this would be considered kind of a bullish setup, right? So when you look outside, this is, fuck. So, man, I have so many things to do. So we look at this, and this outside of looking at the S&P looks like a potentially rising floor with a bullish setup and attempting to rotate. The danger obviously is that this is the bear flag of AEX, and he can still careen out of this and take a leg down anyway. So the apparent bullish, setup that you see there, or potentially bullish setup, is really a skew of currency. So in looking at these guys broadly, you can see S&P is showing you something else. He's drawn down here really deeply. So all you're really watching today, is really in the S&P is this. This guy's going to take Europe and everybody with him, whichever way he fucking goes. Okay, and JNK CTVA, JNK is Bloomberg Junk Bond Yield Index. Let's see, did somebody ever ask this before? Nope. So Fed begins raising rates. There is a differential between the risk-free rate and what you consider C paper or junk yields, high risk paper. And when you begin to, raise rates, the natural response in markets is to adjust risk. So you need to earn bigger yields to justify staying in these kinds of bonds if you're going to maintain the spread between the risk-free rate and where junk status is. So as the Fed lifts the risk-free rate, the bonds have to move inversely to push the yields into places that make sense to assume the new risk in the system. The Fed is raising the risk overall in the entire system. So junk status has to be repriced. So that's what you're watching. Ultimately, if they do it wrong, right, there can be some explosions in this market. So this is junk bonds fucking exploding in the banking crisis. So this is COVID. And this is what the range we're in. So if we're looking at some things we looked at and we think we have a chance to bottom in the summer and the VIX has maybe one more blow off, it stands to reason that this is going to bottom someplace inside of here and make the higher floor and set the stages for the market bottom that, ultimately would allow this guy to stabilize. So this is probably worthy to keep your eyes on, and to track it in a lower resolution than this. Let's see. Interesting. Not too much degree of relationship with it. Yeah, this is interesting, if whether this is a leg down or he's actually got a bull flag forming here or not. Or is he going to finish this path out and then bottom and rotate? It's probably worth keeping an eye on. I think it's good for bringing that up. CVTA. Arch. CVTA. So much for finishing on time. CVTA. I'm not getting anything. I get Cape Verde Trust Taurus, some shit in a country I can't get a graph of. So I don't know what the hell this is. Did you mean this? CTVA, fuck. Alright, my bad. What is Corteva? Bear says, no, what is this? It appears to have something to do with maybe the fertilizer market, but I don't see an industry or anything like that on it. Looks pretty fucking bullish. As they just looking at where he's at right now. If he continues this, he's got obviously a humongous uptrend. Horrible bull flag. So once to sustain above that, and there's a chance he could, with that kind of a really steep pump to this, if you were to arc up, he could fuck you and then come back up and then leave. But either way, you want to sustain a system above this. So a corrective structure that took a little longer and could hit a large amount of volume here before he went would probably be more desirable. But it looks pretty fucking bullish. And if he's like, real FOMO with food and things like that, like I suspect it's a food play, he may have the strength to maintain a trajectory that just leaves right away. But two possible paths you could take. And Arch and AUDUSD. Arch, what is this? Arch Resources, pretty sure it's an energy guy. That's energy and minerals. Okay. Let's see. Didn't I have this guy somewhere? Arch. Nope, never. Okay. Well, he looks ridiculous. Looks like everything else in energy, right? That is a bull market, right? While people are dying in risk assets, imagine what it takes to ignore shit like this that's going on in energy. You wouldn't call it, most of our viewers are big crypto folks. You would never call the top of Bitcoin why it looked like that. But you call the top of almost any other asset class, it's got to end, it's got to end. You'd never do this. If this happened in Bitcoin, you'd cheerlead it on, like it's got to keep going. And the reality is people don't even want to look at this shit yet. Definitely huge sentiment things, right? So looking at this guy here right now, he's sitting at the top of bull structure. We know we're the strong as fuck. CL1. CL is still pushing up that way if he keeps pushing. Arch, guys like this have good fundamentals to keep on pushing themselves. And this guy, you kind of watch him on what he's doing here. He's kind of chopping that, so it's kind of ugly. And so this is just a really hideous shockwave. You just let him be over that, right? This is pretty crazy looking. And an AUDUSD. So we talked about this guy. Could he rally from this point up? He totally did. He's still strong. He's not one of the better currencies, I think, to go against USD with. If USD is going to have strength, the commodity-backed guys have been notably stronger against USD, like, USD, CAD, and stuff like this. But when you go with European Union, and guys over in that space, they've been getting absolutely demolished, by the dollar. So I think some of these guys are your better guys to go for. We looked at this. If he rotates out right now, either the bull flag here or he's rotating to about to set this up. So this guy's in the decision point we talked about was relative to what DXY is doing, right? So definitely something to pay attention to right now. If this rolls backwards and USD begins to correct and come off of this to be any greater, then Euro USD is going to become bullish and actually rotate up out of here. And AUD USD might actually be a really good play to actually maintain continuation doing what he's doing now. This swing level that we have back here, I would pay attention to. If we get above that, that's a good trigger to keep in mind for him to go towards this angle and have a chance to keep rotating. So maybe he's an early leader to tell something about DXY. Maybe he's really just still got his strengths from his commodity association. But right now, I think if you're looking for a long, he's not structurally ready for that. And if you're looking for a short, there's better guys to pick. Short against USD. Did you guys get all that? That was a lot. But that is all. We are at time. It is 9:11. Sounds like a good time to get the fuck out. So good luck to everybody today. While you're inside of a shockwave like that choppy shockwave you see in the SPY, we don't really employ dildo rules there. It is generally a good idea to stay the fuck out of chop zones like that. The longer the S&P sits in something like this, the easier it makes to define the trigger to exit the volume structure he's creating, right? So just to recap, looking at this, he's got very, very clear high. We know where Ragnarok is. This is your perfect swing level. Gap here, gaps over here, gaps down here. This is all kind of ugly. Decent basing here, decent basing here. Even under here, right, he's now established a small range where he's daring to dump into. You want to see this guy on the downside, outside. Sorry, terrible. Right, whatever he does, outside, sustain out, even tag it a little bit, and die from there. And conversely, the same thing up here. This is an easy range to stay the fuck out of right now and not get yourself chopped into pieces. So, while we sit and chill, motherfuckers, smoke something good and do the limbo, right? Stay safe, motherfuckers. Catch you tonight. Peace out.
Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Welcome